Okay, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to do a very popular method for boosting your boilies. We're going to actually give them the heat treatment. Now, two of my favorite boilies I like to use is the Equinox and Live System. If you watched my videos before, you're no stranger to seeing I love these things. Cold water months, I love both Live System and Equinox. Warmer months, I like the more fishier baits, but both of these excel greatly throughout the year. And especially in the fall, the Equinox just tears it up. So right now, I already put in some 18 mil Live System. You can see it here, tracker bucket here. And I'm going to add some 24 mil Live System also. Just have a little bit of variety here. Add a few of those in there too for good measure. Now basically what this is going to do, it's kind of like washing out the bait. But once we pour some of the water off of it, we're going to put in some tractors here. I'm going to use the Amino Blend 365. Love this stuff, and so do the fish. And then also the Milk and Nut Crush. Now I'll show you another video too how I also prepare boilies, but for now we're going to show you the heat treatment. Like I said, Milk and Nut Crush, we sprinkled over top, and then the Feed Stem XP powder. All we're going to do is put a little bit of that over top as well. That's really kicking. You can smell it real good. So let's get started. All we got to do is bring our water to a boil. We're going to dump it over top. Put a tight sealing lid on. Let it sit for about 10-20 minutes. I usually let it sit for 20 minutes just to really wash it out and pull some of the attractors out of it. Pour a little bit of water off of it just so there's a little bit left. And then put our additives over top. And then let it sit overnight and we're good to go. So actually you don't really have to let it sit overnight, but I usually do. Most people might only let it sit about an hour, but I like to make sure it really absorbs into the bait, that way you get the most attraction out of it. So let's get started. I already went ahead and put the boilies in, like I said, 18 mil, add the 24 mil. Going to bring our water to a boil now. Yeah, that's just going to take a minute, and like I said, once we're done, we'll just drain off the extra liquid, just leave a little bit in there. You can choose whichever liquid you want to put over top. I like the Amino Blend 365. You can use Robin Red, you can use whatever. The roasted peanut extract, everybody's using that lately, it seems like. This is working great. And you can, instead of the Milk and Nut Crush, hey, even use one of the Nutty Squad mixes. Use one of those. You could put a stick mix over it. You can put the bag mix. The choice is yours. You can even add pellet over it too. It's just something that's going to coat the boilies on top of the liquid. It's just going to add a whole new level of attraction to it. I really like to spawn this out also. That way you get a nice little line right down to where it lands, and the attraction just travels throughout the water. Also, this is great in PVA bags, PVA mesh. The options are limitless. And if you let this sit long enough that it's starts to get tacky, you can catapult them out too. Just put a few in, catapult them out. So a lot of choices. And let me go ahead and change the camera position so you can see exactly what we're doing. And I'm going to let this heat up. Should just take a minute. And we'll be right back. Okay, we got our water steaming over here. So we're at a boil. All we're going to do is put it over top here. Just enough to get over top of the boilies. And go ahead and just put the lid on. Yeah, shut the heat off. And just make sure this is sealed. All the way around here. That's one nice thing about these buckets. Give it a good shake. And you can see it's really starting to expand. Doesn't want to stay on the table flat. Let this go for 20 minutes and we'll be back. Okay, 20 minutes has gone by. Let's see what we have here. You can see it definitely expanded some of these, softened them up really good. So you can see all that coloring on the side there from the boilies. It definitely washed them out. The 24 mils are still darker, whereas the 18 mils are a little lighter. And all I'm going to do is just put some of this water. Let me use the lid here. I'll spill it everywhere. Pour the excess off. You want to leave a little bit in though. You can see I have a little bit on the bottom here. Still see a little bit there. First thing we're going to do, we're going to get our Amino Blend 365. Position that down there, okay. Give it a good shake before you use it. Make sure everything's blended up nicely. Wish you could smell that stuff, it smells awesome. And go ahead and just pour some over top. Give it a good amount. And all we're going to do is give it a good shake. Put the lid back on, seal it so we don't have liquid everywhere. Okay, you can still see the steam coming out of those boilies. Basically anything we add is going to really absorb into it. Let's get our milk and nut crush next. Have that bag right behind me here. Let me zoom out. Okay, I got the bag right behind me. All we're going to start doing is spooning this over top. Don't need a ton, just enough to coat it lightly. And then finally, some of our Feed Stem XP. A little goes a long way with this, so probably only use about maybe a little more than that. Just sprinkle it around. And there we go. Like I said, with that feed stem, a little goes a very long way. So let's get our lid back on here. Seal it down good. Let's give it a shake. There we go. I can actually use a little bit more, I think. See how it's still liquidy on the, like a liquid on the bottom. So let's put some more milk and nut crush in here. I'll just spoon mix it this time. Okay, you can see it's sticking to the boilies more now. Now, a lot of people use it as is right now. What I'm going to do is seal it up here and let it sit overnight. All that is going to absorb in to the boilies, and then anything extra like that milk and nut crush, it's going to stick to the outside of the boilie. Alright, so how simple is that? So we're going to let that sit overnight. I know a lot of people use it right away, but we'll let it sit overnight. That way all those, the amino blend, the feed stem, milk and nut crush, it's all going to absorb in. All those flavors, attraction, nutrients, it's all going to absorb now into that boilie. When you heat it up and as it cools down, it just sucks everything into that boilie. Anything that's a whole, just like that milk and nut crush, it's going to stick to the outside also. And the cool part, whatever you have left over, it's almost going to turn into like a kind of like a dip or a paste. So even if you put a little bit more in after all done, you can stodge it up. You can make a paste bait that goes around your boilie as well with the excess. Now, don't forget, all this extra liquid that when we first started, we boiled off. Don't throw that away, especially if you're going to make some particles like hemp or seed, whatever you're going to make. Just use that water because there's a lot of nutrients and flavoring from the live system in there. So that's another little tip. You can use that with your particles. So save it. Don't just put it down the drain or whatever, because it's very attractive and you can reuse that. And like I said, just let that sit overnight. That's what I like to do. And it's been working really well. So another little tip for you. Hope you enjoyed. Hit subscribe if you haven't done so, and like and share with your friends. Thanks for watching.